Hello and welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Len Gobeil. Yesterday we showed you the first part of the very important school committee budget presentation. Today we're going to show you part two. As we open, School Superintendent Patricia Grenier is continuing her budget assumptions and her budget presentation.
You'll see that our school appropriation, that's in the red, has increased after two years of decline. And so we're excited that revenue has turned around a little bit. We're actually getting about $100,000, $1 million more than we got last year. So that's positive. That means revenue is up to some degree. And if we look at the jobless rate in the state, it's down. So there are some good indicators. And I know that the state revenue, even though they're in a predicament with funding, their revenues are not as short as they thought they would be. And so they're actually coming in still positively. So that's good news, and hopefully we will get more money. But at this time, we have to pass a budget now to move on to the town council, and we probably won't have a state budget figure until the end of May, June, and those actions will have to be taken then. Our Chapter 70 aid, this reflects the 10% reduction, so you'll see that. And then I just wanted to end with sort of putting yourself, one of my high-performance teams, putting yourself in other people's shoes. There's been a lot of discussion about cost of living increases for staff, and many of you will remember that our teachers, in fact, the entire school system, took a 0% increase 2 years ago, which affects your cost of your base pay for the rest of your career. I think we need to keep in mind that rising health care costs actually present in situations without a cost of living increase that you actually may take home less 1 year to the next year because of rising health care costs. And we give an example here of the health care costs that on a biweekly paycheck over the past 5 years, and you can see a greater piece of the pie of your paycheck going towards your health care. And then this shows the impact of health care growth on take-home pay. And the white or the very light blue is your net. And so you're actually taking home less in 12 than you did in 11, and that's because of increase in health care. So while our budget does include a cost of living increase for our staff, it will not cover the average health care increase. So staff will take home less money even with an increase. So, I think that's important to keep in mind as we begin to hire teachers. Barnstable pays the lowest share of health care in comparison to any other community on the Cape. So if I choose between a job in Harwich, a job in DY, and a job in Barnstable, it's really important for us to make sure that our salaries are competitive, because we're going to start out in a losing position with our health care costs. Because in those districts they may pay 75% as opposed to 50%. So all of those factors go into balancing and creating a budget that we feel proud of, that we feel can address the needs of our students and also live within our financial means. And I think that's what we've been able to do with this budget.
Great. So before I open it up for comments, school committee comments or public comments, I just want to, I was kind of thinking about a comment that I made last time, and it was based upon something that Stephanie was mentioning. And the role of the school committee is really to focus on the big picture and the top line numbers, and to review the details. But for example, I was concerned about a line item or a category of let me pick one. System administration costs and the percentage increase there. And then when I did the math and saw, the combined system admin, curriculum and instruction, and student services, and did the math, those three categories as a whole we're spending less than we were last year. So you have to be careful about taking one line item out of context of the whole budget. So percentages are important. Seeing percentage increases or decreases are important, but take them into context. And even though we want to advocate for certain positions, it's not our role to do that. It's the superintendent's role. And in the reverse, in tough budget situations, there have been school committees and school committee members who were interested in naming specific cuts to be made. So, and that's a tough one also. So, so asking the superintendent to manage the budget and implement the budget is what it's all about, and we need to take the overview number. But I think the big number is that the budget increase really follows very closely the increase that we received from the town for the first time in the last 2-3 years. So that's the boring number, but that's the reality, and that's okay, because we have some consistency in our staffing, and we don't and we want to keep people around.
Later in the meeting, the school committee took a vote on the 2011-2012 budget.
Chairman, there are 3 motions, and this addresses conflict of interest situations. The first motion is to adopt the budget for the Curriculum and Instruction Cost Center, and you should recuse yourself from participation in the deliberations and vote on that motion because of your wife's employment in the Gateway program.
Right.
And then the second motion is to adopt a budget for the Student Services Cost Center, which includes a line item for substitute nurses' pay. And Ms. Ellis should recuse herself from that vote. And then once those 2 votes have been taken, the whole school committee, including you and Ms. Ellis, can vote on the overall budget.
And to be clear, I can vote on motion 2 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Stephanie can vote on motion 1 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
That's correct.
So I'll recuse myself right now?
Would that, now, are you also okay if I move this and then I asked for the vote, or should someone else move it?
Yes, that's perfectly acceptable.
Okay, so I'd move to we adopt a budget of $1,470,995.41 for the cost center entitled Curriculum and Instruction for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2011.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right. Mr. Chair, I would move to adopt a budget of $299,357.78 for the cost center entitled Student Services for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2011.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, it is not my idea that you have to go out of the room. That's the court's advice.
You've been giving us good guidance for the last 7 years or so.
That's good. So he can't even influence us with his stares. Mr. Chair, I would move to adopt a budget of $58,746,878 for the school department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2011.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have a budget.
Thank you so much for joining us on Barnstable Today. I'm Len Gobiel.